All right. I am not streaming that game. I don't know why it keeps coming up. I'm about to look up why Twitch is saying I'm streaming something I'm not. Edit. Off. The frick. Okay, there we go. What? What? Well, I have no idea why that keeps coming up. Is it a bug with Twitch or something? I don't know. All right. All right. So, okie dokie, chat. We are probably going to cover uh, the SEL that just dropped, which, from what I understand, is a really good one. I haven't seen it yet, all the way in entirety. So we're gonna watch it, listen to John Crew drone, hopefully make some assumptions. I hope educated guesses, I guess. Would be have I met this? All right. All right. Okay. So,
Is there usually a sound effect there? I don't think so. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live, emanating directly from our offices, the office part of the offices where we spend most of our actual day. Welcome. It's been a while. I'm your host, Jared. On the show this week,
Nearly forgot it.
On the show this week, for our Ship Showdown Q&A, our two big vehicle directors here in the UK office, Mr. John, I almost said John Curtis. Wow. I just caught myself from saying John Curtis. Mr. John Crew and Ben Curtis. John, Ben, say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
So we've got to get used to the camera swapping.
Yeah, Zoom does the camera swapping. John, say something more.
Hello. My name's John.
Right, that's
Please
John.
Zoom.
That's John.
John has also just moved offices. That's why his background is a little bit plainer.
Yeah, you just moved offices. I'm still in the office I've been in all year, but it's we're not used to being in here. So yeah, hi everybody. If you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour out of the end of an occasional week and answer questions from you, the Star Citizen community. At the end of last week, we put up a thread up on Spectrum and asked you to submit your vehicle-related questions. We're doing this show because we're in the middle of Ship Showdown, which is our big annual knock 'em, sock 'em, drag 'em event where the raft loses in the first round.
Too soon.
Too soon.
The people who made the bracket, because that was so unfair. And so we're just going to jump into it. We went to the thread. We grabbed a bunch of your questions. I do want to say a note. I want to say no before we jump in. Pretty good questions this week. I've been doing this for, on and off for 11 years. And a lot of the times we have to skip through a whole bunch of the questions because the questions aren't really on the topic, or they're for a completely different team than the team that we're doing, because people don't always think about, well, there's that team, and they all kind of work together, but we only got this team on or whatever. Questions were pretty good this week, so we were able to basically
but you guys didn't talk about the whole B.
We were able to take our 30 from the top 40, so we didn't have to skip many at all. So we are just going to jump right into it, and the first question, which is the most upvoted question if you account for how many times it was asked throughout the thread, and then combine all those votes. The first question is simply 600i rework when?
Oh, it went
Yep.
to me. Oh.
I say it went. You can answer it then.
So yeah, we've done the concept. We've already shown some of that, I believe, last year. Sorry, it kind of blurs a little bit. It's no production work is currently happening on it, and it's not on our sort of like rolling 12 to 18 month schedule at the moment. I think everything that we showed in the concept still valid. I think exterior wise, pretty happy with where the ship is.
Disappointing,
mainly
but
down
it
to
happens.
Interior layout changes and making a better use of the space that it's got. It's got quite a lot of space, and it's got a fair amount of wasted space. And then also the kind of like the changes we want to do to make sure it's works much better with the kind of the different modules and the different layouts that we need.
Yeah, you covered most of it. I think the only real things to add there is everything we showed with those concept images is pretty much accurate still. Big highlights being the Explorer gets a medical bed and the cargo bay of it gets large enough to hold a Nova tank. And why it constantly, or not constantly, why it never seems to happen is that really 600i owners have a functional ship. So when it comes to prioritizing what do we want to work on next, redoing the 600i takes the place of something else that doesn't exist yet. So still super excited to do it. I think it's going to be a big update when it happens, but it's just finding the right time to do it.
Yeah, and I think it will be nice to kind of put a little bit of polish on some of the Origin ships.
We've not done an Origin ship for a while as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to kind of give it a little bit of love.
Yeah, I know. We go into I think it's our 6th or 7th 2026 schedule meeting next week. And next week, and I'm hopeful we're going to get an Origin ship in there.
On to the ninth edition of the schedule.
Yep. Just in case people think it happens willy nilly. It goes through a lot of iteration. And yeah, for the people in the chat, I can't call you out because there's so many. When did we start answering when questions? We're gonna have a couple of these. And the when questions we're gonna be able to talk about are the ones that are like it's not coming anytime in the next 6 to 12 months. I think it's important. It's not the information anybody wants to hear. I think it's valuable to folks who want to it's important for managing your expectations and stuff like this. We don't want to string you along or whatnot. If we know something's not going to come in the next 6 to 12 months and whatnot, some of these questions we're just gonna tell you. To me, it makes sense. It's the right thing to do. So that's why we answered that one. And there'll be a couple more of those as we go through. Our next question, how many existing ships need upgrade/polish before engineering can be released? Now, this is a backdoor question trying to glean some insight into engineering, but I'll let John and Ben answer about the ship part of that, since engineering is not technically a ship feature, a ship content feature.
Yeah, obviously, vehicle content has a big part to play in this. So there's sort of two-part answer here is what's needed from the vehicle side to release the feature and what's needed to have the feature fully functional, bells and whistles and everything. So what's needed to release the feature from a vehicle content side is all the ships support it right now. We have fallback methods for those ships that don't have physicalized components, say like all the single seaters. You'll be able to access the gameplay in a way through your existing MFDs to sort of repair and manage components that are damaged. So it's sort of not as unfair to those ships that don't have that level of physical components as those that do. And that will come with some downsides. But again, it's not a vehicle content feature, so I don't want to go all the way into specifics. But in terms of the full featured running around your ship, changing fuses, messing with relays, engineering screens, completely accessible components, we are pretty well through the list. I had a big chart that I was looking at the other day of where we are with it, and it's well over half the ships have that level of everything being physicalized, and the majority of the ones that don't so far are those single-seater ships that gameplay is of a lesser importance. So every patch, people have noticed ships getting little updates here and there, or have not noticed. So we're chipping away at that list whilst working on all the other things.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It's fortunately the engineering gameplay makes the biggest difference to the bigger ships, and it's the smaller ships that kind of give us more of the headaches, like not the single seaters, but like the ones with like the really small interiors. They're the ones that kind of gives a few more headaches because we're limited by the exterior of the ship and trying to cram in so much into the kind of interiors. But yeah, luckily the mediums, the larges are a little bit easier to kind of update and support for that.
Yeah, and the big headline here is that it's not a feature that's being held back by the work on the vehicle content team. Whatnot. It's the folks who are developing the feature and the gameplay systems design team. And they're still working on it. I saw Torsten was over here. He was visiting from the Frankfurt office earlier this week, and he was in there with a big review with JJ and Rick and Rich on this earlier this week. So it's still underway. It's still in development. No comments on when, because I mean, we've done like between Digital Citizen Con, actual Citizen Con, a couple ISCs, we've done like 5 videos on engineering at this point. So it'll go into tech preview testing when it's ready.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to get there as far as when. Next question from the thread. How do you choose the color scheme for the showdown paints each year? This is probably also a backdoor question to the
Yeah, I'm guessing that's a me
pink
question.
paints.
It's a big spinny wheel of random colors, and we just go.
Yeah.
I just want to know if they're
no.
going to be giant and pink or purple again this year.
Well, we've got a meeting kind of next week to make some decisions on this.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a me, John decision. In more recent years, what we've been trying to do is kind of wrap the whole event into its sort of like quite a cohesive sort of brand and tying it all together. So you'll notice that the colours that the halls were and all the branding in the halls was reflected by the ships. It works great on some. It doesn't necessarily work as well on others. I think we're this year, like I say, we've got a meeting to discuss next week about what we're going to choose. I think we will hopefully have learned a bit from some of the ones that maybe didn't work quite so well, and hopefully make something that everyone well, it's really subjective, isn't it? Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, no matter what we do. So,
Yeah.
But hopefully it will be more successful as we move forward.
Can it be more purple than it was last year, though?
I'm trying to. Like last year was like purple and blue, and it had those really nice sort of like
That was the year before.
Oh, was it? Oh God, has it been 2 years already?
Last year was Milka.
Oh,
Wait, what?
no comment.
Milker? Is that a UK?
Milka, the European chocolate brand.
Oh,
purple and white.
Milka. Wait.
What's the line? Other brands are available.
Yeah, they're not the only brand available.
Yep.
Other chocolate.
And just in case any of Milka's lawyers are watching, that was not a binding statement from Clan Imperium Games. It's just colloquialism. As of 2025, most starter ships are far from being Gold Pass. These ships are the ones which are used by new players to discover the game, and they are sometimes so outdated and featureless that it feels wrong. Any plans to prioritize legacy starters to Gold Pass them? I like a question with a strong POV.
Yeah. Short answer, yes. In fact, this week we actually did the kickoff for gold standarding the Aurora series. So what do we mean by that? That means giving it all its physical components, updating the dashboard to current MFD standards, fire extinguishers, weapons locker, just fixing all the stuff that's wrong with it that doesn't suit the game today versus when it was made. And it's going to be I think quite a nice update for those owners of which there are many millions.
Yeah, I have a little bit of an issue with the term gold standard because like gold standard's like an ever moving kind of line. So it's
Right.
more about bringing the ships up to
Current.
current standard or 1.0 standard or however you want to kind of like stage it. It's it's bringing the ships up to the standard where they support all the current kind of gameplay and features that we know about kind of now. Who knows what's going to happen in the future and where we'll take things. So this is about kind of making them the best that we can make them today, effectively. Yeah, and I think in terms of like starter ships, I don't think we can say that yeah, we're doing all starter ships first, and then we're doing this, and then we're doing that. It's generally kind of prioritized by ship popularity in kind of some sense. So yeah, the more popular ships, we obviously the most popular ships with the worst issues is the ones we want to try and fix up kind of sooner. But then also kind of what makes sense from a, a gameplay and a business sense. So if we've got something, a feature coming out that we know is going to use a certain class of ships, and we've got some of those ships that are maybe lacking, then if we've got time in the schedule and everything aligns nicely, then hopefully we can kind of try and bring those up to standard.
Okay,
as well where we
hopefully you can still hear me,
But yeah,
chat.
it's quite a lot of kind of juggling of different things to kind of do the picking of exactly which ships are getting their pass when.
There was a question in the chat from Jenin Tonic. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this person's been in SEL chat for years and years. Hello. They ask, why was the Aurora removed as a starter package? For simply put, it's a two-factor thing. I can't remember when we did it. We did it a while back ago. One, I think the Aurora MR alone, there's like 490,000 of them across accounts in the PU. When you factor in all the Auroras, it's definitely our most populous ship, and it was still needing a gold standard pass. It needs all that work. The dashboard they mentioned, the damage mesh, the ground fuel ports, the radar, and all, it needed work and everything. We felt that there were other starters that were a better start for people, just like the question originally said. So we removed it from the starter packages. You can still buy it. You can still buy it individually if you want it, whatever. But we felt it was more customer facing to push ships that were closer to the current standard, as Ben said. And when the Aurora is back and up to the current standard or whatnot, we'll look at bringing it back into a starter package. What do we got next? What happened to the 4th Zeus variant? It was briefly shown during CitizenCon 2953, and it was apparently called the Zeus Mark II ST. I don't remember that, but I was really busy at CitizenCon.
I do, because a fun story here is I put the wrong image in the PowerPoint slide for the presentation, and I noticed that on stage when I turned around and looked at the screen, and it had all 4 there. So yes, there is a 4th variant called the ST. And the reason it isn't really known about beyond there is it has a sort of game loop that isn't really fully fleshed out. So we decided not to launch it with the other 3. And when that game loop is more fleshed out, we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things we try. We don't always succeed. Let's just be real honest here. We don't always succeed, but we try not to push ships that don't have the relevant requisite gameplay at the same time. And when people see a new ship that's added every month, and they say, why are they doing another fighter, or why are they doing that, and whatever, there's a lot of factors that go into that, not the least of which is that fighters sell. Let's just be real. But it's also, most of the time when people are like, why aren't you doing this ship, or why aren't you putting another ship with this? It's because we're waiting for the gameplay systems to mature. Before we put more ships out in that loop. Again, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes a schedule is a schedule. But wherever we can, we do try to not push ships that don't have the requisite gameplay or all the requisite gameplay and stuff. Again, there will always be exceptions. How is ship modularity coming along?
I mean, it's out there now with the Retaliator. It is another one of those things along with the Hull C that took a long time, and we talked about it for a long time in SCLs and ISCs. It's out there with the Retaliator now. So really the only thing that stops it spreading further onto other ships that we promised it with is just simply time and resources to go through those other ships and do it. Same reason we haven't done the last 1 or 2 modules for the Retaliator. In terms of feature-wise, it's there. It's working as much as we need it to work for ships such as the Apollo, which I'll say now is coming out next month with all of its modules, so all 6 modules. So it has the left and right tier 1, 2, 3 modules, so you can mix and match between them all. There might be some ships that I can't think of in the back of my mind that
There it is,
have a
folks.
feature
The
inside their
Apollo.
modules that doesn't work yet. But if that's the case, we're probably not working on those ships anyway. But yeah, modularity as a feature works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's technically 6 modules, but it's 2. It's the left and right with
It's
a,
the
a
left- yeah,
tier 1
because-
bed, a left and right with the tier 2 with 2 tier 2 beds, and the left and
Yeah.
right with 3 tier 3 beds.
Yeah.
So it is technically.
I
6.
still get confused by the tiers. It's the wrong way around in my head.
It is. We do everything in Star Citizen is generally tier 1 is your starting, and then you go up, and tier 2 is more than tier 1, and tier 3 is more than tier 1. With the Apollo, because of whatever decision we made back in 2018 or when I think it matches actual first responder injury stuff. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Oh, I guess that makes sense then.
But
I'll let
it's inverse. So the Apollo is the only one that's inverse, where tier 1 med beds are the best of the med beds, and then tier 2 are the medium, and then tier 3 are the lesser ones. And that is confusing a lot of people. We're like John said, the September promotional ship, the flight ready ships are the Apollo triage and the Medivac, and our brand folks are onboarding and having to learn about this and stuff like this, and yes, it keeps being a continual point of confusion for everybody inside. But we're paying for the sins of 2018, us. I saw the command module recently being added to the public roadmap. Anything you can tell us?
Why does it always come to me first?
Because you're the last one that was talking.
Oh, okay. John, do you want to talk first?
Yeah. So command module on the roadmap, that's the technical features done by not the vehicle content team to allow us to set up the command module, which you've seen on the side of the Caterpillar, and it's also on the Ironclad, that allows it to be a fully independent ship that can dock.
So are they
detach,
talking about the
dock,
Drake Kraken
and
or Caterpillar?
the complexity here that requires the feature development is it's not the same docking system as you see like Starfarer refueling or Merlin and Constellation series, because those are simply just 2 ships attaching to each other. The command module is that plus the transfer of control authority between one ship to the other. So you need, when you're in the command module, it's to have its own set of IFCS parameters and more, but we'll just talk IFCS. So it can fly off and do its own thing. And then when it's attached to the base portion of the ship, it then needs to essentially absorb all the control links of all the items that are in that other section, take over control of them, take over flight of the whole thing. So yeah, we are getting that feature-wise in a position where we can update the content to support it.
Sure, and I think, like I said, it was recently added to the public
Seriously?
roadmap, not in the release view, but in the technical development view. That is being developed by the technical feature team is doing it, and then when they're done, then it can be applied to ships like the Caterpillar and stuff. So I think I want to be real clear. When you see, I think it was scheduled to end in December. That's not when the Caterpillar.
I'm not
the
even
Caterpillar is
arguing
getting
with
into
her.
December. That's when the work internally is scheduled to be done.
Hold on
And
a second,
the vehicle
chat.
content
I'll
team
be
can
right
grab that
back.
work and say, thanks, and then start applying it to.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not a hard requirement.
Be right
for
back.
Some of our upcoming ships, but I think everyone will be pretty disappointed if we're not able to ship the Ironclad with its module, and obviously, like I say, it unlocks us to then be able to kind of work on the Caterpillar and everything else. So from our side, we're not in control of it, but we are pushing to try and get as much support as we can for it.
What brought on this recent design trend of emphasizing bespoke weaponry on your newest ships? I don't know if a trend is 2 in a row, but
Yeah,
question's a question.
I agree. It's an unfortunate trend based on just the last 2 ships. It's not a sort of weird plan to just bespoke weapons going forward. I think if I think about everything that's coming for the rest of the year, the only other bespoke weapon that is on any ship for the rest of the year is the Perseus turret guns. Everything else uses generic ones.
No, there's a bespoke weapon on one of the October things.
Oh yeah.
Because I continue.
So two more. for the rest of the year, and those ships also have generic weapons. And it's a two-part answer. One, Ben could probably talk about from the visual side, but from the design side, it allows us to have
I'm back.
essentially some level of control over the actual raw like damage output of a ship, because as players know, everyone min maxes. If you have generic swappable weapons, you have to account for a full size range. So if we take the Meteor, for example, and we let those be generic size 5s, I think that would be a
Man,
well and
it's
truly
slow
overpowered
around
ship,
here
but
today.
because their bespoke ones allowed us to have size 5 weapons that were very constrained and had sort of downsize to keep it in check. And the same with the Wolf, that generic size 4s would have made it sort of just a Talon, but smaller.
Yeah, I think
it's-
you're right. It's a compromise. It's a compromise between like design requirements and balancing and everything like that, and also between the the visuals that we're trying to achieve. I think trying to fit generic size 4s on the Wolf would have it would have limited what we could do with its visuals, and I know that's not important to everyone, but it does make up like a large part of what we try and do with the game. But like I say, it's a compromise. With the Wolf, we were really keen to be able to kind of have those weapons fold away and kind of compress into the body and give those really clean lines. I think it was a quite an important thing for Kruger. And with the Meteor, we kind of wanted to really tie those weapons into the kind of the ship itself and kind of show that it's like make it feel kind of really powerful and really unique. So we can like integrate them into it, much like what we did with the kind of the Ares ships. And just because they're not generic size 4, size 5s, or whatever that means, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's never going to be options for other weapons for those ships. It just means that they won't necessarily use all of the ships, all of the kind of weapons that are generic in that size class. But it doesn't mean that you're only going to ever have one weapon for a particular ship.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. Let's see if anybody else picks up on it. If only there was a giant ship convention.
Do I need to wink at the end of that statement?
Yeah. The ships with multiple S2 shields seem to have some power issues compared with ships with a single larger shield, as they consume much more power, but they perform much worse. In the past, you said that 6 times S2 of the Redeemer should provide an advantage in regeneration compared to a single S3, but currently they're not working this way, as the S2 shields have much worse shield regeneration. Whew. John.
That is very true. So we are in this sort of in-between stage of the current system and engineering. And I talked with Torsten yesterday to make sure I say the right thing here. So hopefully I don't misconstrue it. But with the engineering update, there's going to be quite a large change in how shields and other components function. And essentially, if you have a ship that has more than 2 shields, you will only ever have 2 available at a time active.
Well, that's
so
stupid.
That means that if one of them goes down, your third one will come online to like take its place. If that one goes down, the fourth one comes online, 5th, 6th, whatever. So in terms of power consumption, obviously that changes things drastically because you're only having to power 2, but you have this sort of larger backup pool of shield generators. So in terms of size 2 versus size 3, all the sizes will have changes done. Like every single item is rebalanced with engineering. All the values you see now are not going to be the same as they are when engineering drops. So you can't really accurately compare that 6 S2s now to say 1 size 3 coming in the future. But that difference will be a lot less with engineering update.
Just please don't make me swap all of size 2 to size 3s. It will break me.
Whose idea was it to make everything physicalized?
It was a really good idea.
Are there any plans for a medium to large class salvage ship?
Okay, I love the way it always goes to Ben.
Who's the last one talking?
So
it's
we want there to be
dead.
like a full range of ships in a gameplay loop, like true dedicated starters, like professional starters, then small, medium, large, capital, whatever. And we saw this earlier in the year with the introduction of the Golem for the mining loop. So you've got that teeny tiny proper starter ship. And for salvage, we want to have that as well as this medium large ship in the future to fill them out.
I
fill the
guess I
range
was
out.
right about the medium
Medium orange
salvager
salvage
chat.
An orange one?
Argo.
Why an orange one?
Because I think salvage suits orange ships.
Argo. I can see it.
I
can see it.
All right. I'm just gonna ask this question, then I'm gonna go get a drink. Backlog ships plan.
Yep. Obviously, a very popular topic, rightly so.
Yes, Lady Space
it's always
Patrol.
like we've talked about this over the years lots. It's always a balancing act.
Welcome, by
at
the
the end of the
way.
day,
I don't think you've ever
uh,
been in my chat before.
The company and the
Welcome,
project is
welcome.
funded
How are you today?
in a particular manner.
That's a
and
good question.
traditionally, New ships,
I think
sell
they're
well.
filming
but
CitizenCon.
that doesn't mean we can't not do the old ones.
Hang on,
We
I'm
have to
gonna
do that, but it's
dismiss
always a
my
balancing act
ad
between
break
fresh new
so
content,
you don't have to.
updating
oh,
the existing
shoot.
content so it suits the game as it is today. Like I said, we talked about with the Aurora.
Sorry,
that
I'm
isn't
gonna
really
dismiss my ad
suitable for
break
the
so
game
that
today,
you can keep
So
talking.
we need to fix things
So
like
sorry.
that, and then we also need to
Hang on.
finish and deliver on the backlog ships. And that changes year to year.
Are you
quarter to
sure?
quarter.
I don't
that
want to run
ratio.
people off.
It's something we put a lot of kind of discussion into and thought into as we're kind of like planning out the.
Oh,
years
you have
and what
turbo.
we're
Thank
planning
you.
On doing.
Fair enough.
And I think
I appreciate that.
We kind of generally look at what we're working on in the 12, 18, 24.
You pay
kind of
extra
month.
for the privilege
Ben,
of
I'm sorry to
turbo.
interrupt. Can you move your mic closer to your mouth? We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
Yep.
Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah. I was just kind of echoing what John said. We basically, we put a lot of thought into it. We're kind of generally planning like 12, 18 months and ahead. And having a bit of a look at.
Yeah,
like, where
so
the
do
backlog
I,
is,
sadly.
Which, like I say, is something we do every time we're kind of talking about what ships next.
They just
Um,
mentioned there may be an
if you take
Argo
into account
salvage
the sort of, like,
medium
the next
ship.
kind of
I hope
18
its
months or so,
interior is better
after that,
than
we'll
the
be left with maybe
moles.
kind of like two-ish.
I mean,
a
I'm
year
just
that we
saying.
haven't delivered. Maybe some years 3, maybe some years 1.
Honestly,
but I
if
think
they
we're-
make an
we're
Argo
definitely trending
medium,
on the right
I'm gonna probably
trend.
turn. I'm probably gonna
you know,
get that instead of the
there's a few
Vulture.
manufacturers that've
Again.
got like 1 or 2
I
vehicles left.
love
It'd
the
be great to kind of get
Vulture,
them
but
kind of done off the backlog, and then we can really focus about kind of new and exciting stuff.
real cute
Um,
kitchen.
but,
Is it the
yeah,
raft?
I
It's
feel
got
like
that
we've made
whole
a
like
decent effort,
living
and
area,
we're kind of like we are
stuff
getting towards
off
the kind of like the end of the list.
main
Yeah,
elevator
if you
and
look
entry.
at the existing backlog
I
ships,
used the raft
and
extensively
we
during
said this
the
before that we don't want to release ships without their gameplay.
what do you call it?
whether that's,
Resource
like,
stuff.
feature
Yeah,
wise or game
I
loop
dig
wise.
it. Yeah, let's.
If you remove all the ones
I hope it
that,
keeps that aesthetic.
as of today, like if we could click our fingers and instantly magic a ship into existence, if we remove all the ones that don't have features in the game today or fully functioning game loops, that backlog list is quite small. I think you've got the G12s, which I know there's a question about coming, the Liberator, the whole series,
You know, Lady Space Patrol, I'm going to
Odyssey,
give you a follow too.
and then the rest of them are ones that sort of really do need a game loop to make their
There
their
you go.
use, be
Gave
good
you
in
a
the game.
follow too.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to jump in there and stuff. It's often what happens is we have to
I'll be sure to
interpret what the
stop
request
in
actually
as
is.
well
People want
whenever
the ships,
you're
but
on
they-
as well.
What they're really saying is they want the gameplay. They want the gameplay that is associated with that ship, and we, the people in this call, are not entirely in control of that destiny. As everybody knows from our statement at the beginning of this
Oh,
year,
you haven't?
certainly not all. It's been
All
kind of
right.
exaggerated, but a bunch of our engineers and programmers and stuff are on Squadron, closing that out. There are still many gameplay programmers and engineers on Star Citizen working on crafting and base building and engineering and the new inventory system we showed off on SCL a while
Yeah,
ago.
no
So
worries.
So, but there's never enough people to work
I'm
on
always
everything all
happy
at one time.
to.
There just isn't. So
By the way, did you hear the big news? Apparently, during this, Lady Space Patrol, they mentioned the dang battle cruiser. Unknown manufacturer at the moment, but the battle cruiser, which was in the original stretch goals, will be coming to players' hands. That is the second largest ship after the Bengal. I mean, it's less than 100 meters smaller than the Bengal. It's basically a core Imperial super ship. Yeah, it's going to be a beast.
You guys can make.
But I'm also going to raise a question. The battle cruiser's the big boy, right? I think it's the Corvus. Yes, the Corvus is a battle cruiser. That and you saw how big the battle cruiser was. It was almost Bengal size. It got damaged. I think there was still enough air on the decks for the crew. Oh yes, yes it is. Yes it is.
Those ships when the gameplay team
It almost looks like a battleship.
gets around to making that gameplay and stuff like this. But when you take those ships out, somebody in chat mentioned the Endeavor.
I also think we're
yeah,
going to get the
Endeavor's
cruiser in
let's just
between
be
the
real, we're gonna be
Javelin
waiting you off
class,
Endeavor.
destroyer
When you
class,
take those
and
gameplay
the
ships out that don't have the
battle
gameplay,
cruiser.
the backlog is actually pretty
A
reasonable.
lot of my
and stuff.
friends
Even the
think they're
Manual
not
Regiment
talking
requires
about.
NPCs and
There
being
is
able-
a
being able-
theory I cooked up, Lady Space Patrol. The reason why they're not mentioning the cruiser right now, you know, the one between Javelin and Battle Cruiser, right? Is simple fact is the cruiser already has a concept in the works, and they don't want to spoil it. They want it to sell well. It's going to be more expensive than a Javelin. Think about it. The Javelin is $3K. This is going to be a 500 or 600 meter long ship. That's crazy, isn't it? And then you have the battle cruiser, which is even bigger. So, yeah.
to set up your own shops with NPCs and stuff.
Sorry,
and
I'm
more
going to
feature work and
continue.
stuff. So it's
I know.
it's always
Honestly, I hope they make it locked to only one per account. You can only buy one cruiser, one battle cruiser. And if they ever sell the Bengal, one Bengal. Because you don't want multiple Mesmer Jelliots. Hello, Mesmer Jelliots. Sup? What's up, man? What we got going on? What do you think about the cruiser, the battle cruiser announcement, Mesmer?
balancing it. It's we answer some version of this question twice a year, every
I
single
think
year.
it's crazy.
For at least the last half decade and whatever. The answer never really changes, but there's always new people. So I want to make sure, it's a thing. We'll keep answering it because people want their ships and people deserve to have their ships in as timely a manner as possible. But we have to balance.
Same,
that
welcome,
between
welcome. My name is
gameplay services
Axis
being available
0096.
and
I'm
quite
on
frankly,
multiple
the needs
platforms.
to
YouTube,
continue pushing the project into new directions at the same time.
the new ship. Well, the battle
So,
cruiser is a pretty
not
rare
easy.
one. It doesn't even have a proper
12.
concept yet.
12th question. I don't know why I said the number. Raylan cargo pod system.
Oh,
Valid
here's an important
or
one.
needs rethinking.
Who's it going to go to?
I'll go. Okay. Yeah, I think it's. Can I say both? I think visually, it's valid. Like we really like where it is visually. And we have been doing a little bit of investigation on this kind of fairly recently, trying to work out what we want to do with it. I think what that has kind of led to is the cargo value is probably going to change a little bit, and I think we will need to do a little bit of concept work to get the kind of the visuals to a point where it still looks cool, but it is kind of it's practical and it makes the ship kind of good to use, because the last thing I really want to do is
Lol.
push us too far down a particular route with the visuals that just mean that it's an absolute pain
Definitely
to
still
play
work in
with.
progress.
So I think we need to find that compromise, like we kind of keep mentioning. But they are valid because I like what they look like, but they need a little bit of tweaking to make work.
Yeah, they are gonna use the existing SCU cargo system that we have in the game, so they're not gonna have some
That was the
weird
important bit, wasn't
bespoke
it, that I should have said.
Xi'an cargo shape cargo. It's going to use the same SCU ones. It's going to take 32 SCU containers, but we have some ideas on how we're going to sort of wrap that up in the GATAC style language, and then the cargo capacity is going to go way up. I'm not going to give a number here. We'll give a number later on, but it's up.
Uh-oh.
Will next year have a manufacturer focus like the past year seems to have been RSI? And if so, any hints to which one it will be?
We don't. This is going to sound weird after what has clearly been a year of RSI heavy ships, but we don't really pick like a manufacturer theme for the year. We talked on stage 2 years ago and last year about RSI being the theme for like the capital ships and going through that lineup. And a certain set of scenarios happened where we ended up doing some additional RSI ships, and that's been pretty useful in terms of building out kits and allowing them to sort of benefit from each other. But there
i.e.
isn't
Galaxy,
really like next year is going to be X manufacturer. We're going to
Perseus,
do 10
Apollo
ships from that
next
manufacturer. Well,
month.
We try and do a spread.
I have an Apollo.
From the chat, will we see more Kruger ships?
I hope so. I definitely want to see more Kruger ships. So it was
More fins.
more definitely.
No.
Maybe more
less
fins.
fins.
I think things like the Kruger ships, the Sula and stuff like that, stuff that is a little bit more blank canvassy when you kind of get to start with it. It is a very exciting challenge. I think if you take some of our existing manufacturers, you kind of know what you're getting. You know what you're getting with the Drake ship. Doesn't mean they're not fun, because it's great to explore their processes further, their manufacturing further. But I was kind of super happy with the Kruger and where we got to with it, and I will definitely be pushing to get more Kruger ships. Not that it's my decision, but I'll do what I can.
Another question from the chat. Anything about the Carrack cargo pods? After we were talking about possible changes to the what was it, the Raylan cargo pod system.
This is something I've wondered for a long time. Lady Space Patrol.
Yes. So there's a lot of talk about the Carrack ones. They were never designed to be fully openable whilst they're within the ship. If you look at the ship, like the belly of the ship comes down halfway down the pods. We did some work last year, early this year, to improve the opening, but they're never supposed to fully open whilst in the ship. You're supposed to drop the whole pods out and then they open. If you look at the very original concept art, you'll see them like dropped on the planet side. That's where that ship's modularity comes from. And to do that requires quite an extensive rework of that belly area. So we're going to save that for when we have time to spread or time to spend more on the Carrack, because again, it can take cargo. I'm fully aware of how annoying it can be. It's not supposed to be like your mainline cargo ship. It's a explorer ship or expedition ship that can take cargo.
Translation.
The solution
Quit
is
trying to make
slightly
it
more
use
work than I
stuff,
think
do stuff
people
it's not
tend to
supposed to
think.
do.
Yeah, folks in chat.
But we call it
talking about how
emergent
loading the
gameplay,
Carrack is,
CIG.
loading cargo for the Carrack is so clean. I just realized it's in the side of my screen here. You want to see what else is painful about the Carrack? Here's a piece of merchandise that never made it off the drawing board. This was a Carrack plushie we explored like years ago. I just had it on my table. Yeah, it's
Why? Why are you showing us that, dude? Come on, jerk.
it's not good.
It's got issues.
An attempt was made. That's what you get when you're here in my actual office and not my fake office we use for TV. There was another. There was another really good chat in question. I lost it. If you had a great chat in question in chat, ask it again.
Was it the CitizenCon one?
What was the CitizenCon one?
The sneak peek one? How many are we expecting to deliver?
Oh, no, that wasn't the question.
Okay. Start
Will external doors be made stronger so you can't just open them by punching the door?
Yeah, one of those great game dev quirks is that technically melee is doing physical damage, so over time it will do enough to open doors. Short, midterm, we're going to be bringing in, hopefully alongside engineering, like the concept of armor having minimum thresholds of damage, like damage numbers. So punching would just never exceed that threshold to allow you to open doors. Longer term, Maelstrom does this out the box. It's functional now in Squadron. Like your punch doesn't do enough kinetic energy for the system to even care about, so you'll never be able to break it like that. And as the interim, until that comes into the PU, engineering will hopefully bring the sort of lightweight version of that approximates the same outcome.
I know. I found the question. Sandman 0888 asked. No, he didn't ask it. I lost it again. Wiseman 93 asked, "Will medical beacons return with the Apollo?" Boy, howdy! I sure hope so. I'm not going to sit here and say it absolutely will, because that's still roughly a month away. But we are making every single attempt to get those things back online. They were causing some really weird issues. Well, most people, you don't need me to explain to you what the issues were. It was just filling up the mission logs and making them unusable and stuff because of other changes that we made to Onyx facilities and stuff like that. So they were pulled down this month so that they could make some fixes. The things that have tormented medical players unfortunately won't be addressed.
They said, okay, you want me to rewind, Lady Space Patrol? I can. Hold on. They said that the medical beacon system might be coming back online with the Apollo. I have a theory too, running theory. I believe we're going to get some version of something happening with the regen crisis with the Apollo being introduced. What do you think about that theory? Lady Space Patrol, what do you think?
Like your punch doesn't do enough kinetic energy for the system to even care about, so you'll never be able to break it like that. And as the interim, until that comes into the PU, engineering will hopefully bring the sort of lightweight version of that approximates the same outcome.
I know. I found the question. Sandman 0888 asked. No, he didn't ask it. I lost it again.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think so too. Apollo release with Regen Crisis Story. I really hope NPC medical rescue missions, but I no longer trust the edge at all. Yeah, this year's been kind of one of those weird ones. I mean, it's just been weird. They totally dissed us from ISC SEL. We haven't just had a trickle of information. We've barely had any info at all. We've been on an info diet since like January. We haven't even had a solar system ISC or anything all year. No update on Nyx, Castra, nothing. Not even Terra. No updates on 1.0. I hate to say it, but to bring back some of the public trust, they might need to go back to weekly shows or bi-weekly. Not this once every blue moon crap. You know? Giving updates might lessen some of the disbelief in people. I'm not saying all of it. Understand. Not all of it. There's still a big circle of mistrust that I totally understand will never be healed. right? But it could go a long way forward, even if there's some mediocre amount of info. Yeah, that's true too.
Wiseman93 asked, will medical beacons return with the Apollo? Boy, howdy, I sure hope so.
Here it
I'm
is.
not going to sit here and say it absolutely will, because that's still roughly a month away. But
And I'm
we are
going to
making
change my.
every single attempt to get those
You're
things back
okay.
online. They were causing some
Don't worry
really
about
weird issues. Well, most people, you don't need me to explain to you what the issues were. It was just filling up the mission logs and making them unusable and stuff because of other changes that we made to
So you can read it.
Onyx facilities and stuff like that. So they were pulled down this month so that they could make some fixes.
It can be hard to understand Jared sometimes without subtitles. No offense to him, but sometimes I pull up subtitles so I can kind of understand what he's trying to emphasize, you know?
The things that have tormented medical players unfortunately won't be addressed when they come back. This is just about restoring their functionality that they had a month ago. But we will have more information about medical gameplay and the future of medical gameplay and stuff to go along with the Apollo when that launches, as John said, next month. But second to that, every single opportunity is being made to get medical beacon. But second to that, every single opportunity.
So we're going to get a major update on the medical beacon system. Did you catch all that? We're going to hold this to them.
Play and the future of medical gameplay and stuff to go along with the Apollo when that launches, as John said, next month. But second to that, every single opportunity is being made to get medical beacons back for next month, because I'm just going to say it. It's really silly not to have them on the month you're trying to launch the Apollo. And I'd really rather not have an unforced error like that. But we don't always get to control our destiny that way. So people are trying. I'll say that much.
Is it just me, or does he sound like he was told to say that, or he might get fired? Lady Space Patrol. That sounded like somebody told him to say something like, you say this or no job for Jared. You know what I mean? You either say this or big trouble for you. Yeah. Or they're going to throw him under the bus, which I don't want. That's a good, it's seriously like, are they really going to throw Jared under the bus? Yeah, it's
considering how many ships have been getting PDCs, including things like the 890 and the Reclaimer, will the Ironclad be getting some too? Very specific question.
Yeah. Sorry, Iron Chad owners, that you're not going to get them. They're really designed for military capital ships. I'm aware the 890 and the Reclaimer has got them. Those do not fit that bill, and the Constellation Phoenix. But that is because they were originally promised with them as part of their original design brief. So that's why.
okay. Now, the Ironclad standard I get, but what about the Assault? The Assault strikes me as it's a subcap. It's not a true capital. Okay.
They have them. But there's no.
But what
plans
about
to give
the
them to
well, the Connie gets a grace off
There is
because
a new vehicle
it's
with a new
a
kind of PDC coming soon.
it had it
There is.
in the
Where there's a will, there's a way.
concept.
And also, I was just talking to the economy guys. We are adding the existing PDCs, the laser repeaters and the new missile ones we launched with the Idris K kit. Those are going to get added to the in-game shops probably sometime around November.
Good.
To make you people, to make those of you who have ships with PDCs have some more customization options. That stuff's coming.
Nice. I have an Idris P. That's going to be useful. It's going to make my ship a lot more defended. That's for sure.
So about getting in and out of ships and seats, which always locks the player into an, in my opinion, way too lengthy animation that we can neither cancel nor skip. Are there any plans for a refactor of this, like there are plans for ladders and vaulting, climbing, traversal?
Yes, some of them are definitely too long. Calling out the Talon, especially. That is too long. It needs shortening, but we can't just make. Well, we could just make the animation shorter, but then all the audio and things are out of sync, and we want to make it all feel nice. And like part of the allure of Star Citizen is feeling like you're in that world. So when you start getting audio visual disconnects, it's not great. I saw this question. It also sort of hinted like, why don't we just use the Ladder V2 tech for getting in and out of ships? That's never going to work. They're two very different systems. Ladder V2 is for like static environment ladders, whereas this ship enter exits are very bespoke animations to the ship geometry themselves, and also have a lot of events tied into like, when I start this animation, I want to start opening the canopy, deploying fins or panels or whatever. They need to be very controlled, but being able to break out of them is something I've wanted for quite a while. It's a priority thing, and it's on a team that is not under my influence to bias, sadly.
And I think you're right. Technically, you could speed up the animations, but I think it's about kind of making sure that things still feel kind of tangible. They still feel realistic, relatable. And we did a mocap shoot for not me personally, but there was a mocap shoot done for the Wolf Enter exit, and seeing the speed at which the mocap actor stuntman just absolutely threw himself at the kind of the mock-up that was built out for him to use.
It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, it's I'd say it was pretty quick to be realistic. Him kind of sprinting full speed at a bunch of framework and throwing himself over it into a seat was it was impressive to watch. Even though I only got to stop the video, so it was still good.
Some nice Dukes of Hazzard action in there. John, you just reminded me, I just opened up thesaurus.com, was just looking for another word for bespoke. So we collectively at CIG, we have a problem. I'm guilty. I'm as guilty of it as anybody. Bespoke only has one synonym. Tailored. So we stick with bespoke.
Yeah.
BMM.
Oh boy.
BMM.
Now we're getting to
BMM. Lady Space Patrol.
It's not in the 2020.
BMM. We're going to address the giant alien elephant in the room. And John, you are on.
26 schedule at the moment in terms of releasing. I do hope, though, fingers crossed, everything goes to plan, that we will start putting people back on it.
Fastcar will be
in the back half of
thrilled.
2026.
Back half.
Quite far into White Box. We showed the progress at CitizenCon. It's not moved an inch from where we last showed it.
That was quite a tough thing to show, because we wanted to be honest about it.
They said they wanted to start it back half of 2026.
We're still on stage.
So would you say 2027?
Come in, and it's like,
early?
Just trying to be honest. So I think, as John says, we're
what do you think? 2027 early or mid-year?
Team kind of back on it next year, but that it's not currently in the schedule for next year's release. But as we keep mentioning a lot, things change, but that's a big one. It's going to take a lot to do.
Yeah.
So, the chances of it moving.
They're more interested in getting complete with the first 5 systems. Got a good point.
Can dedicated racks be placed in cargo ships for a max lift tractor tool, so one is handy and in the cargo bay?
I don't see why not. It's a pretty valid use case. Some of the ships we have later in the year do have weapon racks near their cargo bays. I don't know off the top of my head whether the max lift
Whoever asked that question's an industrial player, and I love their style. Good question. Good question. I applaud that question because not everybody wants the little handgun tractor beam, and we may not be able to use that one for some crate sizes. Plus, the max lift is much better, in my opinion. I
shares.
applaud
the-
whoever
the
said
way
that
you
question.
decide what goes in each rack is a combination of size and tags. I don't know whether the max lift is classified as a weapon or a utility item. It might be that we need to
Pretty
just
sure it's a utility item. Yeah.
yeah, we probably just need to retag the weapon racks to support both, assuming that they share the same metrics. Which Ben, as weapon art
I
director,
cannot remember without looking. So yeah.
Mm.
Sorry.
How I'm going to leave the camera on you for this one, Ben. How hard is it
Brilliant.
to create paints for the currently available ships?
How long we got? Like, if I
Well-
start waffling too much, tell me to shut up. It's really a mixed bag. I think if you got a black ship, you want to make it red, it's relatively straightforward. It's relatively straightforward for me. We have some material settings, we can change that. It's fine. Everything we do still needs to have. Without getting too technical, new entities set up. It needs to be plugged into all the existing ship setup. It needs to be tested, needs to be named, needs to be go through market. There's a whole host of other departments that aren't just like color swatch red done. But making something kind of just change colors like fairly straightforward. The difficulty comes really when it comes down to if you've got a ship with a particular kind of paint breakup. So if you've got a ship that's by default it's silver and it's got a little bit of blue or whatever, and it looks great. That's cool, and you can put a bunch of different combinations on it. And it looks great. The problem comes is a lot of time we're trying to theme like packs around particular kind of colors or ideas, and as soon as you start kind of trying to get tints to work across multiple ships that have been set up in different ways, it becomes quite you can make some really ugly ships really easily up on white. So
Yeah, you can.
it can take
Definitely can.
you've got to be a little bit more kind of careful with that sort of stuff. One of the things that kind of limits us a little bit is our breakup is kind of baked into our ship models. So we don't have the ability to kind of just go, okay, actually I want to make all of these panels one color, this panel another color. It's like it has to work with everything. So that can kind of add some complications. For unique paints, they're a larger investment of time. All the graffiti stuff we did earlier last year, earlier this year or end of last year, I can't quite remember. That stuff is a bigger investment of time. The issue that comes with that is there's a lot of additional geometry that we need to add onto the ships to be able to support the kind of designs. With that additional geometry, you then have to go back in and reset up damage, reset up UVs, reset up vertex colors and wear, pump it all through the LODs. It gets quite complicated quite quickly, and on top of that, you then have to go through and re-update all the existing paints and tints that have already been done for those ships and anything that shares any variants. So if you take a Cutlass, for example, all of a sudden you're working across multiple different variants, all with loads. It just gets more and more kind of a rabbit hole you go down. So they do take a bit more investment of time. To try and not waffle for an hour on just this subject, we have recently been doing some R&D into how we improve the system and how we want to make it easier for us. There's lots of like really kind of clever ideas and things that we've talked to our kind of graphics team about, who luckily sit next door to me, so that's quite handy. And we're kind of getting buy-in from these other departments, and they want to kind of see us push it as well.
I
It now comes
appreciate
down
you
to,
hanging out with me,
breaking down the
Lady
work,
Space Patrol.
kind of getting that estimates in.
It's
getting into schedule,
fun
working out the
talking to
priorities on it.
somebody who
So I do
actually
hope that we can
plays
make
the
better
game as
paints quicker
well.
in the future. At the moment, it's.
I might add.
I wish it was just the easiest like color swatch pick go, but it's not. And
It's
I
always
know there's
fun
a lot of games
hearing
out there
a
that do
good
that. There's a lot
opinion.
of racing games that do that, and they allow you to do like full liveries across it. But the scale of our game, the texture resolution that we work to, you try put in a unique texture on a ship that's 250 meters long, you very, very quickly see the limitations of unique unwraps and unique texturing, which is something that just doesn't work for a game of our scale, and it's not a compromise that anyone's really, especially me, is willing to make when it comes to putting them out. Like, I'm not having low res, low quality artwork all over the side of our ships. Sorry.
No, good answer. Check your check Teams for a question while I ask John a question here.
Okay.
John, can you give us any more info about other Retaliator modules?
Modules.
Obviously, we need to do the ones that we sold back in the day that were not delivered, which I think is the living quarters and dropship ones. Before we do any further ones.
Speaking of that, Lady Space Patrol, you don't have to tell me this, but I'm based out of Oklahoma. One of our members has graciously decided to open his home to the community during SitCon. You know, he obviously has good security and measures in case somebody does break the house rules, you know. But we're going to have a SitCon watch party courtesy of my Bar Citizen group there. I've been meaning to get back in touch with him. You mentioned SitCon, but I've been meaning to get back in touch with him. Yeah. Oh, you're in Canada. Are you in Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, or one of the other states, out of curiosity? They're huge states. A lot of people don't understand how big Canada is. You're 10 minutes from Niagara Falls. You're in Ontario. Okay. So you're in Eastern Canada. Okie dokie. So are you going to have is there a Bar Citizen near you for the event too? Eastern-ish, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah,
there are no concrete plans for additional ones, but if I get my way, I would do a medical bed one, just because I think that would be a pretty good utility to it. I know a lot of people have asked for a actual bomber module using bombs.
right.
I
Paul,
think I will.
Paul's been a good friend.
That was you.
As you've seen,
was-
Lady Space Patrol. He's a gracious host. He's invited me many times over to his, his captain's table. I've never had a bad interaction with Paul Shelley at all. And speaking of that, viewers, Lady Space Patrol will probably also endorse this as well. The person we're talking about is the astro historian, Paul Shelley. He is a very wonderful host of the Captain's Table, and you can find his channel pretty much everywhere, right? He's pretty much everywhere. YouTube, I think he's on Blue Sky, maybe, and Twitch too. You'll just have to look around for the Astro Pub on Twitch. You'll find him. Big recommend to the Astro Pub and Astro Historian. Exactly. Oh, and speaking of Star Citizen history, if you are a Patreon member of his channel this month, you will get to see the History of the Verse Volume 5 before anyone else. Kind of jealous of y'all, because that's going to be awesome. I actually have done a watch through reviewing the history of the... I need to do a proper sit down and watch through them with acknowledging Paul, Lady Space Patrol as a stream, and do it just to see how many people are interested in history. Because Paul is deep. He goes on deep dives. I always acknowledge Paul's channel, his channel, his please subscribe to this content creator, you know, the spiel. I don't use without not acknowledging people. That's my motto, chat. If you're going to use somebody's content, you have to acknowledge them. A lot of creators get in serious trouble not acknowledging content creators. You know, it's their fun, right? Ladies Space Patrol. It's how they make money. It's their career. It's their dig. Yeah. I never forget to acknowledge people. I don't believe in being a shrew or a jerk.
Oh, the retaliated
Like in that
bomber.
case, no. I would probably go the route of letting the existing torpedo racks be swapped to bomb racks.
Sorry,
as
I
an
got a
option
little
rather than
deep
a wholly
there.
new module. But we could go either way. It makes sense to do an actual dedicated bomb one, but we've got two paths for it.
All right, so that question I was trying to ask slyly, we're almost out of time. I was asking if we could get some extra time with our guys without putting them on the spot. They both graciously said yes. So we're gonna keep going because we have some more questions that I'd really like us to get to. Now I lost it. Any progress
You
on the
lost it
PTV
again.
rework and its backlog of paints, including the Best in Show one that was initially shown at least 2 years ago?
What happened?
This is another great little fellowship task that we keep putting in the schedule, and then it gets removed because something runs long or something needs to come forwards. Yes, still planned. I think we did show a concept of it.
Yeah, I know we did concepts for it. I don't know if we've shown it
with the
publicly.
STV maybe.
I
'Cause
don't
we-
think
we
we
sh-
did.
we-
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I feel like that
I'm
was right.
sure we've shown it somewhere.
When we did the STV,
What are
and
they
we showed
talking
the
about?
other one
The
that we never made,
PTV?
the other
The
buggy,
UTV.
UTV. I think it was there.
We did.
Yeah.
We showed the whole family, like, so you could see the lines. Yeah, that is how it will end up. So it's basically the current PTV brought up to modern grin standards, space for components, and I think a pair of weapon racks on the back of it, so you could put your personal weapons on, and then yeah, it will have backwards compatibility with all the paints and the Best in Show one we promised.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, as we normally do with ships, I expect there'll be new paints for it as well.
I'm not ignoring your drone questions. There's a section the drones just have nothing to do with the vehicle content team at all in any way, shape, or form. So we have a section at the end here where we're going to answer a couple of questions that don't have anything to do with this team. And one of those is about drones. So that's what I was asking about time for. Are we done with concept ships? Have we done a concept ship this year? We
We've
haven't.
not done one this year. No, we're not going to do one this year unless something manic happens in the next few months. But
I
yeah,
was going to say, we've only got 4 months. We can't whip up a new concept that fast. So
Dave?
no, this
We'll give
2025
Ben a
will end up,
charge. Yeah.
2025 will end up being our first year without a single concept ship.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something we've talked about, I think, loosely on various shows, that we ultimately want to move away from concept ships entirely and just go straight to here's the thing.
Just to be clear, we'll still be concepting ships. We just won't be
Yeah.
showing them
Yes, we
externally.
won't be.
Yeah.
We won't
Yeah.
be releasing them as concepts. We're
Yeah.
we're trying really hard. We made a big
Sorry
effort.
to concept artists
Which
watching this who are
means
now on
we're
the
not
floor.
going to get as
Yeah.
many.
They're still
Hang
an
on a minute.
absolutely essential part of the process. It's just that we made this initiative last year. to
Translation. Lifetime insurance will probably be going hasta luego.
really try to
Chat.
make everything flight ready, just to move to flight ready. And we did last year. I think we only had 2 concept promotions last year. I think it's taken us a while.
Yeah, Ironclad and
Technically, the Starlancer attack variant was
yeah.
concept and stuff like this, but we're trying really hard. And this year we've succeeded. That said, as I'm thinking about it right now, if you go all the way back to our like original crowdfunding campaign, I'm talking about the original stretch goals, I think we're still on the hook for a battle cruiser at some point,
Yeah.
which will undoubtedly be the biggest ship in the game.
It's
Are we still going to do
really-
that?
Yeah, it's looking really, really cool with the progress we've made on it so far. So I think the
Yeah.
battle cruiser, you know, on paper, it's a big old ship, and you know we are. I hope I'm allowed to say this. We're in very early stages of kind of our concept work on the battle cruiser at the moment.
Why is the engine okay?
Too late,
what's going
Jared.
on
Sorry.
We're going for it now.
We
yeah,
have to do it.
yeah.
I mean, that's fine.
here?
that's fine.
Okay, that's better.
It's not coming this year. It's
No,
not coming anytime soon. Okay, so it just don't want to get
it's-
anybody's hopes up or anything.
it's one of you know it's
Sorry,
a,
I was having issues with
it's
the
a big
graphics.
ship. It needs a bunch of concept to get it right. Super happy with where it's going so far. I think it allows us to take a lot of the things that we've learned on our existing kind of ships and our larger ships and kind of wrap them into a big powerhouse and deliver something that we're kind of like we're super excited about. Not
Yes.
just in terms of like firepower, but what we can deliver from a ship this size with everything that we know now. So yeah.
Yeah, it's unlike any of our existing capital ships. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Or it will be because you're still working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they talking
Just-
about?
I backdoored into a subject here. Let's just be real clear. Trying really hard not to do concept ships anymore. 2025 looks like it's going to be, again, it would be impossible to launch a new concept at this point.
What
So
did
our
they
first
just
year
say?
without concept sales. We don't want to do any more concept promotions.
The battle
ever
cruiser.
again.
They
We
just
might
talked
have to do
over.
our last
Oh
one for
my
the Battle Cruiser
gosh.
whenever
I wonder
that
how
comes
much it'll
and whatnot.
be.
But this is an exciting kind of
Oh
big
my
shift
gosh.
in our ships. We're flight ready or bust.
I'm getting.
Get the old ones that we need to deliver done.
I am so sorry. I was trying to piece together what they were saying. So it's bigger, almost as big as a Bengal. So what would you think, Lady Space Patrol? 8,000? 6,000? The Jav's 3. So maybe 6, 5. It's a huge ship if they sell it.
Make new ones flight ready and try to avoid.
Well, the
concept
Javelin's
promotions wherever
enormous,
possible,
but this thing's on
realistically, if the
another
Valkyries is
level.
As big as you're going to say it is, we'll probably have to do that one as a concept at some point. But
But you have to understand, you have to agree with me on this. They should limit Lockett to one account, one per account, because you're not going to have enough space for so many huge ships in the engine roaming around. A hard lock of one per account. That may limit some of the mass buying out, Hopefully. That way an org can get one as a base of operations, It's my opinion.
we'll let
It,
future.
it boggles my mind
whenever
too. Because
that day
from
comes
what I understand,
down the line.
they've never
not
talked about a
anytime
bigger ship.
This is what you get, Ben, for details about the Battlecruiser. Are there any plans to add internal liveries to ships?
Oh,
let us paint
good
inside
question.
I'd love to. It's one of those things.
Very
that
good
it-
question.
It requires teams outside of my control to be able to kind of deliver this, and they all have big priorities lists that they need to work through.
Love that
Um,
question.
My expectation is it will come, because when we're actually kind of developing our ships, we are setting them up using the same tint system that we use on the exterior of our ships on the interior. It's just we have no way of making that kind of player facing, or no way of kind of being able to swap that within the client itself. As we make the work, though, we set them up in the same way where we have we effectively assign different IDs to different areas of the ship, and they will take on, we set those materials to take on a tint, and then we tell it what that tint is. So it means that on like the back end for the last I want to say like 18 months or so, we've been kind of making our ships like that, so that when that feature comes online, we've kind of we're already kind of trying to work a little bit smart and not accrue more kind of tech debt and more rework that we need to do on ships. So I am all for it. I can't make it happen on my own.
people in the chat are asking you to show us your Pokeball collection.
Oh no, they're not Pokeball. Well, I'll show these, John.
Sure.
Too late.
Don't
Too
know what,
late.
don't know what you're showing.
They are like
Oh, there.
patches.
Yep. Yep.
They're an internal
I
thing
like
we do
those.
for our team that ships. Anyone that works on a ship gets their patch.
Yep. And that's what's on the windowsill behind you. They're just lit up like from the
Yep.
little bit of sun we get in this country. Yep. So that's
Hold up. Hey, Lady Space Patrol, do you see this? What is this? Look at this. The heck is this? This is a ship. Yeah, it's blurry. It looks like an Aurora, but kind of different looking, maybe? What is this? A new Aurora, or maybe the gold standard pass of it? What is this thing here in the background?
what from the
Yep.
little bit of sun we get in this country.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. Because look at it. Hang on. Ooh. There. It looks like an Aurora, but the shape's kind of odd, don't you think? Look at the window. Kind of odd. Maybe it is an Aurora. We're just seeing it from a funny angle. Maybe. I mean, it could be. Well, someone did say it is going through its gold standard. So I guess we'll find out soon enough.
For our team that ships. Anyone that works on a ship gets their.
Yeah, I
Okay.
get it. Some
Yep.
Dune
and that's what's
vibes.
on the windowsill behind you. They're just lit up like from the
Yep.
little bit of sun we get in this country. Yep. So that's pretty cool.
That's by the way, that's a I've got to thank John for doing that. He's the one that takes care of and organises it all. So I get to show off John's good work.
It reminds me I need to do last year's ones.
Yeah.
Because we're only up to 23.
What happened with the wolf not being gold standard? Is there a conspiracy?
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, I saw all the Reddit inspection posts about this. Like, it's some secret CIG conspiracy to stealth lower the standards of the vehicles. It's not.
Oh my gosh. What?
Ultimately, we wanted to release the Wolf in August, no matter what. And we just didn't have time to do everything we wanted to do for the Wolf to get it out the door in August. I saw plenty of comments saying, oh, it only takes 30 minutes to go model these patches.
If
I could
if
have
there's
done
any
that.
artists out there that can model, animate, UV,
That's a nice
do
joke.
the technical setup,
Laud.
LODs, get it engine ready in 30 minutes, we have open hires. Please apply.
Job postings
that-
at cloudimperiumgames.com/jobs.
I'm honestly
There's
nice
a
to
lot of
for, I promise.
work beyond the actual physical modeling, and some of it has to be done sequentially as well, rather than work in parallel. In that, if we're going to do the components, we can't do like the final damage mesh until it's all done. We can't do the final UVs. We can't do the final LODs. So that time we spend doing those components just delays everything later and later. So whilst it may be this amount of the whole schedule to do it, it shifts the whole date back. But they are in progress. I saw a video today of them all in engine, looking pretty cool. And they will be coming in a patch before the end of the year, along with some other Wolf-related things.
That we possibly hinted at earlier in the show. I see the chat saying, so you want to have one ship a month. Some months are going to have 2 ships. Next month has the triage and the medevac. Months like May had 4 or
Some months
5
we
ships.
have a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more than.
Yeah.
one ship.
November has a lot.
Yeah, it's not a prescriptive
IAE
thing. If
shopping
the wolf
trip
wasn't ready, if the
time.
wolf wasn't flyable, if it wasn't an enjoyable experience, if it wasn't usable, people couldn't play the gameplay with it and stuff like this, then no, we would not have released it. We would have held it. But a couple component bays, knowing that we can get them in to a relatively recent subsequent release, that's not a thing to hold. That's not a thing worth holding a release back. That's all that is. But yeah, I don't think it's any mystery. We're shooting for a ship almost every month, if not every month. I mean, I think if you just look back at this year and last year and the one before that, that becomes pretty self-evident. That's not any new information.
And that's not new either. Even
No.
in prior years, I can't remember a patch we did where there wasn't a vehicle released in it.
Yeah. It's mostly just, you're right. We changed to the monthly patches now, and so that becomes like that. But it's just we've tried to have something included in every patch for a while now. We just do more patches now. Where is the bloody G12? There's that question you hinted at
Where
is it,
before.
Where is it?
Where is it?
This is
The
another one of those
G12,
vehicles
this is a
that
good
goes on the schedule. It's a
question.
nice little clean cut. Here's X weeks of time. We've got a strong concept for it, and then something happens and it moves, and it's really annoying because it would tick the box of all the Origin ships done, and I think that would be, I guess, with the exception of Kruger, the first like properly complete manufacturer lineup, where we've released them all.
Yeah, I'm looking at my wall trying to see like if you're right, but yeah, I think, like I say, I'd love to get it ticked off. I'd love to get them done. They're super cool. I like ground vehicles, but yeah, it's not on the current schedule just now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It actually was on the Twin Twix 6 schedule.
It was, yeah.
The first and the second, the third review. I think it got punted on the third review, unfortunately. Just so folks, get a sense of how many times we reviewed this, and how many times it's revisited, and how many times.
Yeah, he talked about that earlier. I'm like, John, 600 I work. Where you got? What are you talking about,
Why do
John?
you bring more and more
600
single-seater ships
six-
with size
okay.
4 or
Origin
even size 5
hover
weapons?
tank,
Don't
John.
you know that those are making?
Where's the Origin hover tank?
Not only makes it looking
Did you
size 3
forget
and
about
smaller
hover
like
tank?
toys for children.
Yes.
Anyway, that's
Or
what, that's
John's
how I read
also
it, sorry.
forgetting about
But these
that
sizes are
little
meant to be armor piercing, so for
escapade,
shooting down bigger multi-crew
Space
ships.
Patrol.
This is totally contradictory for a multi-crew experience if the one-man army
I
is
know,
able to kill
it's
the group
like-
ship all alone.
I wish they would, though. I want to see the hover tank.
I wasn't trying to be. I was having trouble just reading it. Sorry.
Yes, those bigger guns are designed to take on larger ships. Is putting them on smaller ships a problem? I don't think so. We have ships like the Ares that is a single person ship with a very big gun designed to take on larger ships. We want there to be a wide range of gameplay styles, but what we don't want is like we always refer to it internally as like the Jesus ship, where
What?
it's the best ever, and every
what
ship owner
ship?
wants their ship to be their ship. They want it to be the best handling, the most damage output, the strongest health.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whacking a pair of great big guns on a ship doesn't make it instantly better than another ship, because we balance it
Hey.
alongside,
Hey.
not mentioning any ships in particular. We
Okay. About that.
balance that alongside the handling.
About that. The Mantis is a weak ship with a strong use. The Meteor, on the other hand, needs serious reconcept, and it needs the ability to use energy guns as well as ballistics. So there, John.
and the armor. Brains
Maybe a
failing.
jerk there.
So yeah, the Meteor, which I'm guessing is probably the source of this question.
I remember.
it's just-
I remember for like the week before it released, everybody was on fire because it was supposed to be the most OP ship in the world and was going to destroy everything. And then people got their hands on it and they're like, "Oh, I guess not."
Yeah. Like I say, it's balanced around what it has. It has those big guns. They're tuned in a way that makes them not particularly effective against light fighters and small, fast-moving stuff, but better against larger ones. It doesn't have the shield and health to take hits. Its handling is great in a straight line, but not angular. And we have all these different options for if you want to play a certain way. There's a ship for that, but they're not. There's not like A beats B, C beats A in every single category.
And I think from my side of things, I think hopefully we're building a universe that has space for all sorts of different ships, and be it little single seaters with big weapons, or be it big haulers and cargo stuff with no weapons, and I think we're building a pretty wide-reaching game, or at least I hope we are. And I think as long as it doesn't break kind of like player immersion, as long as it doesn't kind of break the enjoyment, I think there's a massive amount of space for a variety of ships, and as long as they're all balanced, which, as John says, there's loads of different levers and strings that the clever people can kind of pull to make sure that the ships kind of work with each other, and we're not making something that's really overpowered. But purely from a visual kind of side of things, I think as long as it's believable, I think there's room for all sorts of fun stuff. At least I hope there is.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much closer you can move your mic, but you're getting quieter again.
Am I getting quiet again? Sorry.
Yeah.
Do I need to start?
It's all right. He's alone in his office right now. He's just, people think that we're like professional TV personalities or whatever. People forget that
You are.
most people here are just normal people. Well, not John. John's not normal.
And also, I've got like
Not
a
normal.
crowd of people working right out front of me. I get embarrassed shouting at the top of my voice.
Do a shoutcasting episode.
I did. I took my one swing at shoutcasting at the anniversary live stream that nobody talks about anymore. Never again. Oh, that's
Low.
Gaming Llama Spaz in the chat asks, will we get more Star Kitten paints?
Depends whose decision it is.
I wanted to see what your
Okay.
answer was.
So I
It's not as
We
simple
will.
as you
It
think,
says yes.
people. It's not as simple
Yeah,
as you think.
we will, because they're very popular. Would I like to see another Star Kitten paint, or would I like to see something that is equally as fun, that is slightly different? I'd probably take something equally as fun that is slightly different. But I know there is a lot of love for the Star Kitten. I think for me, it's
Heck.
why. Like I don't want to put out a new ship that's just got a Star Kitten paint for the sake of putting out a Star Kitten paint. Now, if we have something in game, we have an event in game, or an experience in game that is themed around that, then absolutely we do loads of ships around it. Or if we've got some story arc or some mission where the person at the end of it's a massive Star Kitten collector and you get one as a reward. I don't know. I'm winging it on the spot here. Yes, it's just I'm not really willing to just kind of like make one for the sake of making one. I'd rather it have an idea behind it, and not just be like, oh yeah, it's going to do well. We just made one.
Phoenix in the chat says no one cares about paint questions. I hope you see the reaction in chat, Phoenix, and folks can show them.
If we themed IE around Star Kitten 1 year,
Don't.
Okay,
Don't.
sorry.
No, it's this is one of those things. I'm going to go ahead and step on a landmine here for you here. A CIG is not a monolith. There are roughly 900 or so people here, and there are a lot of opinions. And some people love Star Kitten, and some people who won't be named. They're not in this call, but they don't like Star Kitten, and it's we have to come to a consensus sometimes when we do things like this and stuff like this. It's a forever fight. I've been trying to bring back Star Kitten for a while. Ben has the most measured response to it. He goes, it should be purposeful, and it should speak to the product and stuff like this, and that's why Ben is in charge of this, and I'm not. I would just be putting cute kawaii shit on all kinds of random stuff because I just think
So would
I
I.
don't get to make.
I would be doing it
it's-
just to piss my enemies off.
Let us know. Go to Spectrum. Let us know how much you want Star Kitten. I don't care. I'm a
Chat, I'm going to be honest with you. Jared is my spirit animal just now. He speaks the truth. I would do the same. I love Japanese culture. My little brother right now is currently overseas. and he sees that stuff all the time. So I'll be frank, I little jealous that he gets to go to cool places like that. Yeah.
Step on it. Show people who don't believe with your voice that you want StarKit and stuff, or Kawaii stuff, or whatever. Make it happen.
I can see we're going into a version 10 of
They
this.
mentioned the battle cruiser dark-sided.
Start getting paint. Yeah, every ship.
Yeah. Okay.
It's actually in
Okay.
concept.
So at this point, we are done with the strictly vehicle content questions, and we have a collection 1, 2, 3, 4 questions that were highly voted in the chat that actually had nothing to do with.
I have
vehicle
no
content.
idea
These
how
were
much it is.
Ship
They
related
didn't even talk
gameplay
price.
feature questions.
So the
What
Javelin
things
is
where
not
other
the
teams,
end-all be-all
work
ship
on things, but
anymore.
I thought they were important enough that we talk about them and we address them, and so we researched some answers. We went to some folks, and I'm going to ask them here. Ship-to-ship docking. Anything you can tell us?
Still planned. All the ships we build for it follow the metric we set out for it. It's still planned. They small round circular docking collars will extend to the bounding box of each ship, and then the two will join together so you can transfer. Nothing's changed there, but it's not on one of my teams to deliver that, so I can't talk more.
You don't know
Right.
what the battle cruiser
Something
is? The
I
battle
hope you say
cruiser is
some more
supposed to
about.
be a ship
Any
even
update
larger than the
about
Javelin.
rearm, repair, and refuel from a hangar
And
inside a
they
capital ship,
literally
like the Polaris or Idris.
So this is one I can talk a bit more about. Like, this is on the feature team schedule to be delivered in the near future. I'm not going to give a date, and it's required as as part of some other planned content, where we're going to allow ships to land inside, select other ships, and then be able to refuel, rearm, repair on board those ships using the parent ship's resources inside their cargo grids. So if you've stocked up your ship with
we knew
RMC
this
and
was
hydrogen fuel,
coming.
the ship that's landed in will, at this moment in time, it may change when it releases, use the existing Mobiglass repair rearm screen and go, I want to repair rearm, and it will take it from the resources.
And
Yeah, I think.
go ahead.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, I think it's not technically like blocking us from releasing any ships apart from, I think, the Crucible. If there's others, I can't remember them right now. But I do think it will add a lot to. Oh, thank you. The like the kind of the Volker experience that isn't just focused around. Well, I guess it is still sort of related to combat anyway. But I think it will it will still add a lot of kind of gameplay to some of our larger kind of multi-group ships.
Now, I do want to clear up stuff, folks, for Kemi. Hey, Kemi. Been a while. And folks who are saying Ironclad and Crucible and stuff. No. This is what John said, and I want to reiterate this here. Select hangars of existing ships. This isn't something for new ships, although it is something that will apply and make things like the Crucible and the Vulcan possible down the line. This is making it so, let's just take a ship with a big hangar as an example, like an Idris. If you have extra munitions, you have extra fuel, you have you have extra repair goop or whatever sitting on your cargo grid, and somebody lands a ship on the same cargo grid, you can reload, rearm, refuel, and everything from that stock. It's not going to be every ship. It's not going to be every hangar, but there will be, like I said, it's on the feature schedule right now, and it's necessary for some of the interesting content that we have scheduled for the next year. So know when, but it's on the schedule and being actively working on, and it's needed for some of the goals that the gameplay teams have. So it'll be a really cool thing for ships when it comes. Did I get that right, John?
Yes.
Okay. Since we have revealed that the Apollo is coming next month, how are drones such as repair and medical coming along.
Cool.
And
It's the
here's
drones.
the
question.
other big one, Dark Side. The Apollo series arrives next month. Also with an update to medical. So there's some big, huge changes coming. I don't know. I've been in the Idris with a couple of larger groups, and it doesn't feel too empty. I've been in a group with at least 60 people, 30 people on board, and the Idris feels like an actual battleship or a combat ship. Yeah, I've only been in it with a full crew, and it's been great. I've actually had an Idris versus Idris skirmish versus another team. It was a fun fight, too. Real fun.
Chat
It's
has
the
been asking
drones
for.
question.
So drones are being developed as part of base building. Obviously, the Apollo is coming next month. That
So
means
base building is coming next month.
that's not what it means. Someone in chat says that.
Nice assumption.
Drones will not be releasing as part of the Apollo launch. We'll rip that band-aid off now. When we were developing the ship, obviously the Apollo, I want to say it was 2017 originally concepted.
17 or 18.
Yeah.
I remember.
17 or 18. The idea of medical gameplay then is very different to the idea of medical gameplay now. And we have people working on updates to the medical gameplay system right now, beyond what we talked about, the medical beacon. And when we were looking at the ship, the drones was this sort of gray area. They said they would do one thing in the concept that sort of doesn't really apply in the game loop we have now for medical. They predated tractor beams and just the whole respawn mechanics we have now. So we have left space for the drone bay in the ship. We've not got rid of it. The space is there if we find a valid use case for them to exist when drones as a feature exist. But the Apollo will launch next month without drone gameplay.
Now, I do want to add that because the Apollo is launching next month without the drone gameplay, we are going to do something else. We mentioned those modular bays that the Apollo has. The left and right tier 1 bed, the left and right double tier 2 beds, the left and right 3 tier 3 beds. In the past, when we've added modules to ships like the Retaliator and whatnot, we have sold those modules individually. We are not going to do that with the Apollo. So I'm here to tell you now we are going to include all 6 modules for free on every Apollo SKU. So if you already own the Apollo, you've got it already in your account, we are going to retroactively inject those into all of your existing items on the My Hangar app on your website. So if you have the Apollo now, you're going to get all 6. If you purchase the Apollo when it comes out in September or at any point from now on, it's not like a limited time thing. If you purchase the Apollo from any point from now on, it will come with all 6 bays. So that's just one of those things. We were just looking at it, and it's like for all the reasons John said, absolutely completely valid about not including the drones at this time. We still felt there was something more we could do to kind of ease that switch over. So this is what we're going to do. So
that is very very nice of CIG. They could have charged us, chat. Know how much some modules are. Remember the Retaliator Bombay modules? They're like what, Lady Space Patrol and Dark Side? Some of those modules were like 90, 140, weird prices. The fact we're getting free modules, 6 of them, that's pretty generous. But will they be there at launch? We'll see. That's what I'm curious about. Yeah, I can't wait to test it myself. It is a good glimmer of hope. It's a glimmer of goodwill. I'll put it that way. Very much a glimmer of goodwill to the folks.
I didn't forget anything. I'm asking you, John, did I forget anything?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, that we're aware that there are some issues with medical gameplay at the moment, and beyond just beacons being not there, and we're wanting to try and fix some of those things and improve the whole, like not just fix things, add gameplay to the medical stuff, but hopefully we'll get that for September, if not soon after.
And there will be some more changes to med beds and how they work. They're getting some additional functionality and stuff, but you'll learn more about that when that promotion stuff goes, closer to the event. Last question. Any update about being able to relog and or log in on our friends' ships and beds for the crew?
Ooh, big question. Big
I
question.
believe there are some bugs with the current system. That is probably the root of this question. But I'm not the team that is responsible for fixing them, so I don't have the answers to when for those. But I do want to talk about how we want to deal with logging in and out going forward in the future. We want, and I think Rich has talked about this before, we don't want to exclusively gate logging in and out of the game purely to ship beds. We want to allow you to do it anywhere, but there's consequences to that. It's just that beds will have bonuses. Like if you log out in your ship bed, it's better than just logging out on the floor somewhere. And that,
so like Skyrim level attributes. Okay, I can get behind that. Like, you have woke up with a head cold. You need to get healed. You know what I mean? Lady Space Patrol and Dark Side? Yeah. You have woke up with a head cold. You need to go to the infirmary. That makes sense. I like that.
means you will start seeing some ships where you go, that ship would have been really cool, but why does it not have a bed? Probably utility, where we're sort of taking that design mindset going forwards. So yeah, expect to see some of these changes going forward in newer ships. Like obviously exploration ships where you're supposed to be out long duration will have beds and everything.
I agree with that,
But
Lady Space
those
Patrol.
Smaller
Resting buffs
short-term
when
ships
resting in a
may not have them
bed,
anymore.
maybe the more general
Gotcha. So
approach.
just
But
want to
debuffs
reiterate
for not
here, 'cause,
waking
again,
up
this
in a bed
This
were
is an early
too.
design
Yep,
change. It's
I
too early to
agree.
go into a whole lot of the details and stuff. But
Completely
the
agree
idea
with
here
that commentary.
is to eventually move to a system where you can log in and out on your ship whether you have a bed or not, and then explore what advantages we can add to those ships that do have beds on top of that.
Yeah,
which we can't talk about now because we're still exploring what those might be. All right, cool. But for people like, oh, my ship doesn't have a bed, I can't log out. Well, that's where we're working towards minimizing the impact of that. John, Ben, I'm sorry, we went an extra 25 minutes. I think I asked you for 10. I went 25.
No problem from my side.
I'm a piece of crap.
We can carry on to
Yeah, just full deep dive on it. Do some examples live.
No, that's probably all right. Guys, thank you so much for taking your time
That was
to be
awesome.
here. Obviously, we don't do as many shows as we used to. Part of that is the big change
You should be.
to a monthly content. Part of that is the big change to, we haven't released a whole lot of new features, which was mostly what ISC tended to talk about. Part of that was, as you saw in ISC last week, we don't want to spoil the content anymore. We're at the point we're making some of the most exciting content we've ever produced for Star Citizen. We'd really like you to get in game and experience that stuff without having every single thing spoiled for you on ISC. So we knew all that going into January. So the video content has changed a bit. But when we do get to have these times to sit here, I really appreciate you coming on the show and then taking the extra time to answer as many questions as possible. And again,
Thank you for that, Lady
to the
Space
community on this
Patrol.
one. I think
Your
I did
job
the beginning,
is
but the questions
open
this week
development. Thank you.
were excellent. In
Good
general. There were
point.
A lot of things that we
Well
wanted to
said.
talk about. So thank you so much for doing your part. That said, there will be no show next week or the week after. We're in heavy swing for CitizenCon Direct production, so it's why we're here in my office on Zoom right now. We're filming.
So that
all
means
the
no
stories
updates for
and
about a
stuff
month.
that you'll see on October 10th. Remember, that is a smaller, approximately 2-hour show. That's good. So it's going to be way more focused and direct, for lack of a better word. I almost used the word
2 hours? What? Hold on. Is that all we're getting? For all that? Hold the phone. Rewind.
don't want to spoil the content anymore. We're at the point we're making some of the most exciting content we've ever produced for Star Citizen. We'd really like you to get in game and experience that stuff without having every single thing spoiled for you on ISC. So we knew all that going into January. So the video content has changed a bit. But when we do get to have these times to sit here, I really appreciate you coming on the show and then taking the extra time to answer as many questions as possible. And again, a shout out to the community on this one. I think I did at the beginning that the questions this week were excellent in general. There were a lot of things that we wanted to talk about. So thank you so much for doing your part. That said, there will be no show next week or the week after. We're in heavy swing for CitizenCon Direct production, so it's why we're here in my office on Zoom right now. We're filming all of the stories and stuff that you'll see on October 10th. Remember, that is a smaller, approximately 2-hour show. That's good. So it's going to be way more focused and direct, for lack of a better word. I almost used the words bespoke, than traditional Citizen Cons. So it'll be a different experience. But remember, there are also watch parties. There's a bunch all over the world, including 9 that we're specifically sending CIG staff in development to. I believe John and Ben are both going to one, but we won't say which one right now.
Nice, nice and friendly.
But yeah, so you can check that stuff out on the website if you want to attend those. But again, if you can find a local one, even though we're not attending, it'll be a really cool experience, and at 2 hours, it won't hurt your butt on a bar stool, we hope. John, Ben, thank you so much. I think we got a lot of good information this week. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you next week. Or not next week.
George.
I just said I won't see you next week. Let's look at the unfortunate Carrick again. How inappropriate. This is just. I didn't mean to show the tip. I was trying to avoid that because I didn't want to get that to get screenshotted.
Too late.
I'm sorry, chat. I'm kind of irritated learning that after so little
Bye, everybody.
content this year,
Good thing we're taking 2 weeks.
we're only going to get a 2-hour Citizen Con. And that kind of irritates me a little bit because, yeah, exactly. I feel a little bit betrayed, chat. Just a smidge. You know, I feel somewhat betrayed right now. And for lack of a better word, I'm pissed. Oh, hang on. Yeah, this is ridiculous. A 2-hour CitizenCon? There's no way they only have 2 hours worth of information over the course of an entire year. They have to have more than that. They are literally going to have people screaming in October, being like, where's the rest of it? Well, yeah, there is that. And I think that might be what they talk about a lot of for Squadron 42, Lady Space Patrol. I have a theory that's going to be what they talk about a lot of. You know, I'm turning on the dumpster fire in the background. If it's 2 hours of Squadron 42, I'm fine with that. Because we have very little info of Squadron. Last year was only an hour. At least they'll get it out of their system. You know what I mean? I mean, let's be real. If they get it out of their system, by then, I'm not happy though. I'm still not happy that we are only getting 2 hours. I feel like they could have done 3 hours, maybe an hour and a half of Squadron 42 and an hour and a half of. Hang on a second, chat. Let's see what the shortest CitizenCon on record was. That's what I'm curious about. What is the shortest one? I'm pretty sure Star Tools will tell us. There's a good question. What is the shortest CitizenCon we've ever had? Let's find out. I was expecting news on Nyx something this year. They literally announced Nyx last year. Now, nothing. I'm kind of pissed. Virtual event 2955. How long was it? It was live streamed. I don't know how long. Oh, that's the 11th. Okay. CitCon last year was longer. It was 2 freaking days, chat. 2 freaking days. Well, Yeah. $29.43 was the initial one. I'm not finding any dates. See, this was an 8-hour. See this one? This was 8 hours. 8 hours. Lady Space Patrol. And this was a digital. This was in 2018. So what about the year before? This was 3.0. Let's look at more modern ones during the pandemic. 2950. Yeah, I'm pissed. 2021. This was 7 hours. The last 2 years, 23 and 24, have been 2 days. These two were 2 days. So yeah, 2 hours? There's no way they can tell us anything important in 2 hours and think it's fair to the rest of the community. I'm sorry, but how is this fair to everybody? I'm not trying to complain a lot, Space Patrol, but this is ridiculous. We spend all this money and then this happens. I agree with you. We were totally betrayed. Yeah, I'm sorry. My rant is almost over. You're good. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm hoping we get at least some news on Nyx, even if it's just a few words or something, something telling us the next solar system is coming out, but I don't know if we will. This is ridiculous. Don't worry about it. Your complaints are welcome here. You're good. Right. That is true. Right. I mean, you're not wrong. They have to give us some sort of update on shit. People are going to raise hell. I swear. Because it's getting fever pitch. At some point, the bag's going to fall out and they're going to be like, okay, we need to get information here. The knives are coming out. Yeah. And not just from us. And I'll put it this way. Not just from us. The backers but also the people funding the money behind Squadron 42. Yeah. There are some big league donors who are probably super angry right now that there's not been a lot of progress. Honestly, they need to finish one. They need to at least finish part 1 and move on to part 2. Yeah, I agree. Or at least have 2 separate teams. At least 2 separate teams. And get it done. One team for Squadron exclusively. That's all they focus on. And the other team exclusively on, the other one. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with that. They keep saying 2026, but really, will it release in 2026? I do wonder. If they cut and run, I don't think they can run to the Cayman Islands and just, whatever. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. They Yeah, good point. You're not too much. You're good. I'm just pissed. It's not cool what they're doing. They know it's not cool, and yet they keep doing it because, oh yeah. And normally I don't knock CIG. Normally I don't, but man, I am a little perturbed that we're only getting, X amount of hours. I think we are owed at least 4 hours, not 2 hours. I'm very tempted to make a post about it on Spectrum. I don't even care if people lose their crap over me posting about it. I do not care. It is ridiculous to expect everyone to be okay with us saying, oh yeah, we're only going to have this much information this year when we've been completely dead silent for months. I don't know what to think about it. I mean, unless they do some more shows between now and October, which I hope they do, they say there's not one for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks puts it September 4th. We better get an update for the month by September 4th. Chat. That's all I'm saying. September 4th will be the end of this month cycle. It'll be in 2 weeks. Well, for me, they promised some pretty big things at SitCon last year. For me, for them not to show an update for Nyx, Castra, Terra, any of 1.0, or name me some things that were in last month's panel. Let me see. For none of the updates for base building, 1.0. Pyro's done and over with. We understand that. The armor's coming in, so that's excluded. I don't know. I think for me, it's development of the actual physical world and events. You know? Maybe new gameplay scenarios. And, complete game cycles. Bounty Hunter V2 was rumored to be worked on, but we've heard no news on it. So that probably is not accurate. I mean, I'm throwing out some big things there, but sorry, I'm triggered. I am a little triggered right now. I'm not going to say that it's any one thing. It would be several things they said were being worked on, and I at least want to see progress. Maybe not announcements of this is done, but a progress sheet, things to come up. They did a show of it a while back, like. Yeah, I've tried to bottle it up, but it's not working. It is not working right now. Super angry, super. A lot of content creators have had to do other things because there's been a drought of information. I've had to start playing Elite again, which is fine. You know, it's a good side game. It's not my home though. Elite's got its own issues too. The Odyssey update nearly destroyed that community. Don't even get me started on that. I was an early purchaser of Odyssey. And what happened with Odyssey? Ooh, boy. I'm just glad I have somebody to vent to, talk to. You know, it's therapeutic. Ain't nobody around. I may end up going to SitCon, talk about things with a portable setup. I actually have that now. I'm gonna load it up into my computer, my portable computer at that. I have a portable PC. Now you know what? I'm gonna divert this conversation, Lady Space Patrol, to my preparation for my bar citizen. This year I have a portable, semi-portable studio I'm gonna take with me. And my friend has advised me to bring it out. He's got HDMI. He's got stuff to hook it up. Got Wi-Fi, so I'm going to transmit from his house and, the neighboring town. So when we do this, we're going to have a chill evening of Bar Citizen Live streamed. It should be interesting. Hopefully nobody gets drunk or sick on stream. Yeah. I'm just severely disappointed, to put it mildly. Yeah, it'll be on these channels, but it'll be on my mobile rig. I'm going to do a preliminary setup on the system probably a day or two before. Yeah, hold on. Let me show you what I'm streaming off of. Let me show you. I'm back. Okay. This is an MSI computer, micro. This is powerful enough to run a full-fledged streaming setup anywhere I set it up at. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun, chat. Very, very fun. It's cooled. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. It is kind of worn from age. This was actually my first streaming rig. The bottom is missing, but I can find it. It's around somewhere. It does work, though. So, yeah. This is going to be fun, chat. Very fun. This was a $1,000 birthday present to myself when I first started getting into Star Citizen. It's basically my backup computer. So, places with large venues and online stuff, I might actually start taking this and using it as a streaming device to stream with. I'm going to upload, what is it, OBS? Oh, there's already OBS on this, so I don't need to change anything. I just need to update it severely. Wouldn't you think, Lady Space Patrol? All I need to do is do an update and things should be up square peachy keen? Probably. If it's already got the stuff on it, don't mess with it, right? I'm going to take my Razer camera. Yeah, I'm going to take my Razer camera, which is this guy right here. And probably a keyboard if I can find one. Just get a cheapy keyboard next month when I get paid. I get paid the 1st or 3rd or so. I get paid in a couple of weeks, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to set up for SitCon. I'm going to contact my friend who owns his home, whose home we're going to be at. I'm going to ask him for the address, so stay tuned for that. Oh, right. It's really light, too, this device. Not super heavy, but I am going to have to be cautious with it. Definitely some TLC. Yeah, it's just frustrating. I'm hoping I can at least get some thoughts from people at the party. That might be a good thing. You know, some live reaction to the short Citizen Con. That would be cool. Hey, perfect idea. Ooh, you gave me a great idea, Lady Space Patrol. Live reaction. Live reaction. You just gave me a wonderful, wonderful idea. Yeah. No, you give me a good hint because think about it. If there's one thing people who are backed into corners don't like is they get like being backed into a corner. Fair point. Yeah. I they're definitely coming out with ships to keep the ship afloat. Think about it. All those ships they've mentioned. All those ships are to keep the game and the game functioning going forward. Much as I hate saying it. Kind of disappointed in that rhetoric, but it definitely sounds like there's some credence. Yeah. But the one thing that I am interested in is base building. Crafting seems to be part of base building. So hopefully we get an update on that sooner rather than later. Glory. Yeah. We'll just have to be patient. I think they're going to have some butt kissing by the end of the year to do. I hate to say it. You must turn in for the night. Yes, I appreciate you hanging around for a bit. That was fun. I myself am probably going to be getting off here in a bit. I might be sending some folks over to good old Paul's channel here in a few minutes. Guess I'm just going to have to see how that goes, but we'll see. But I'll wish you good night, Lady Space Patrol. Thank you for hanging out with me today. It was fun. Hope to see you again. It's always a pleasure. Yeah. Probably going to read Paul. Thinking about it. Definitely interesting. Hmm. All right. So give me a second, chat. All right. All righty. Yep. All right. So, we're going to start to quiet down here a bit. Who did I say I was about to raid? Probably Paul here in a minute. Speaking of Paul, the great Berserker one Batman Shelley, I am probably gonna posture check. Hey, Halcyon. What up, man? Didn't hear that go off. That's strange. Hey, what up? What up, man? What up, what up, what up? Hang on a few more minutes. I'm assuming you're still there. I am just in a bunker. Yeah, gotcha. No worries. Good to see ya. Sounds fun and dangerous. Yeah, me and a couple of other people were going over CL today. It's a pretty long one, and there was a lot of stuff covered. One of which was the potential arrival of the Apollo next month. The Apollo is coming. Battle cruisers are going to be a thing for orgs. They've actually said the battle cruiser. The ship announced in, in the original Kickstarter will be one of our ship. Yep, with all 6 modules. With all 6 modules. I have an hold on, let me show you. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, $400 to Apollo. Smart. It's like a $25 upgrade. Smart choice. Very smart. Good idea. I have the Apollo Medevac. I have the heavier armor, better defenses version of the Apollo. Yeah, I took one look at the other one. I'm like, do I want to risk my patience? I'm like, no. Medical terrapin should become something you use. Honestly, if you're going to use it for something, might want to pick something in the fleet you can upgrade it to from the terrapin, you know. Might want to just go through some ships, see what works, you know. Hold on a minute. Phone call. Sorry, that was dinner plans. Halcyon, apologies. I apologize. Somebody literally called me with dinner plans, and I'm like, I don't know what I want to eat. And I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, about the terrapin. My Prowler utility. Excuse me. Wow. My Prowler utility, excuse me, will probably be becoming a mole. And the mole I have will probably become a caterpillar. As for my reclaimer, that's becoming an ironclad again. You know, another ironclad. Because I love the look of the ironclad series. And yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cough in your ear. Especially with the command module coming exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So how much do you think the battle cruiser will be, man? I'm thinking $5,000 for the battle cruiser. Maybe $5,000 because the Javelin's 3, and this ship is gigantic compared to the Jav, right? Battle cruiser's like a smaller Bengal, but bigger guns. So it's got to be more than 4, you know, my opinion. Well, I've already spent 12 thou, you know. So I think it's within my reach to get a battle cruiser, but it's going to cost a lot to melt. I don't know if it'll be worth it, especially if I lose all my other ships, you know. Hopefully it's set up with some other ships in a package, you know, like a couple of other big ships. It's put together in a package. That way you can buy them all together. Yeah, that's a good point. I think it might be limited a different way. We don't know yet. Yeah. We don't know a lot about this ship. It's brand new concept. It's going to be enormous, is all we know. Huge, huge ship. A true titan. We also know the BMM will be getting worked on again, second half of 2026. That's going to make a lot of people super, super happy. And the Raylan is going back to conventional cargo holding, but it's going to get a lot bigger cargo boost. Yep. The Raylan's also getting work done. So they've already talked about, I don't know, what's the base Raylan hold? I have it. Let's find out. Raylan, right? The current Raylan. Can't spell tonight. There it is. They're calling it a medium freight. It has 320 cargo right now in its current configuration. But we know that it will change. Okay, it's been in pre-production since June 2025. So it is being worked on right now. So it's probably going to be maybe 820. Maybe 820. Perhaps. C2's in the 700s, so that sounds about right. I think you're probably right. Probably a little more. So the more they increase the cargo, the better. Because that'll make it a viable option. It's already got some hefty shield generators and some good defenses, too. From what I've seen, it's got very good defenses. Let me see. It's got it's a blockade runner, exactly. It's got 2 large shields plus a shield emitter. I have a funny feeling they're going to make it have a capital shield. The whole front is armor plates, exactly. It's like runs right into your ships. Look out for that thing. Also, may I add, it's got a very nice prototype paint. If they'll pull up. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to share this. The black and green paint. There it is. I love this paint color. This alien vibe, green and blue. Look at this. Look at this, chat. This is one of the most alien looking paints we got. And I own it. Isn't that pretty, Halcyon? It looks like a scarab or a beetle. Doesn't it? So where's the cockpit? Me too. Okay, on this image, you can tell where the front is. It's right here. Here's the cockpit. I love the cockpit emplacement. It's also got great turret defense. It's got one here, front one here, with full 360 ratio for turn. If I remember straight, this sucker has missiles too. Big missiles. Yeah, that's a slick ship. Okay, here's where they're talking about it. Pre-production was started. It's entering production now. So am I, dude. I'm glad I got that paint too. Weaponry, it has 2 size 4 with quad size 4 turrets, bespoke size 4 missile racks with 16 size 1s, and 2 times size 3 with 4 times size 2 missiles. So let's see. 32 plus 8. That's 40 missiles. The thing's a missile boat. Jeez. God, it's got a tractor beam too. 2-man turrets. Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite ships. Anyways, here's my hangar. This hammerhead is going to become a Polaris again. I'm keeping the Nautilus though on mine. This stays. Paladin stays for now. We'll see. Yeah, the Polaris is more of a group ship. I'm getting it more for based events than by itself use. What is that? The Perseus should be interesting. I'll put it that way. Yeah. We'll see. I've been debating Halcyon with the development of the ground stuff, buying some ground vehicles from my backlog. That way I have them for base building and, area projection, I guess, when we start base building. Yeah. Paladin's going to be an interesting boat. We'll see. Definitely. Did you hear about how short SitCon will be this year? You might not have heard. A lot of people are upset, probably going to be upset about this. During the stream today, Jared basically cut the truth cheese and basically said SitCon this year is only going to be 2 hours long. And I'm thinking in my head, Huh? $2. Last year was 2 days. Yeah, just long enough to announce a ship sale. If that's what it is, oh, people will withdraw their accounts quicker than the lightning, so to speak. I'm just saying. People will be like, I'm done, Dano. I mean, wouldn't you? Yeah. I hope that's not what they do, because if they do that, they're going to seriously piss some people off. But back to this. And then we have the other elephants in the room, dude. We have Nyx, Castra, and Terra. Will we get any news at all on them? 1.0, you know what I mean? The moving of the goalpost kind of worries me a little bit. Just a tad, you know? That's what's kind of worrisome to me. This moving of the goalpost. Not sure how I feel about it. I don't mean to be negative, Halcyon, but I have to be realistic, you know? I won't lie to you. This year started out weird, and it just continues to get weirder. You know? I'm just hoping some of that weirdness translates into good things ahead for us. Hoping, praying, while silently wanting to hit my head up against a wall. Because as a content creator, you guys expect me to tell you things. But it's kind of hard to when you don't really have anything to talk about. '07, everyone. There's some loud cicadas outside. Yeah, it's hot. Luckily, in my corner of the woods, it's supposed to drop pretty cold here in the coming week. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Temperature is supposed to drop a good deal of And rain. Early rain. Well, you have a Cutlass Red? Never played the game yet, Icebound? Hey, Icebound. Welcome, welcome, my friend. Hey, glad you're doing well. Halcyon's a good friend too. He yeah, I do both, Icebound. Elite, though, has grown on me lately with all the weirdness in Star Citizen. Halcyon can definitely understand, you know, because Elite seems to be making some strides lately, which is a good thing. Probably a good thing. It's getting better, Icebound, than when I came in, but I wouldn't recommend it to new players just yet. Like, just yet. $25. Wow. For 2017. Jeez. That is awesome. 25 bucks. That's awesome. That price point is incredible. And the price of the Cuddy Red now, let me see. The current Cutlass Red, yoo-hoo, $135. You saved an average of 110 bucks by not waiting. That's awesome, dude. You did good. That is crazy cheap. And it's sad that they've had to boost prices. Well, maybe they haven't had to, but they wanted to. So you got the Squadron combo. That's cool. Might want to keep an eye on that, right, Halcyon? Because they're saying Squadron might be out next year. We'll see. I mean, we'll really see. It may or may not be. No worries. Yeah, no worries. We were talking about Squadron. Yeah, well, that He also bought the Cutlass Red last when it was first brand new. It was $25, Halcyon. Absolutely crazy. I've never seen Star Citizen ships that cheap. Ever. Yeah, getting early is the only way to do it. If you guys could vote, please, I would appreciate it. If you can. No pressure. You should have enough to vote. There we go. Yay. Cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm guessing, of course, things change and prices go up. Of course they do, but yeah. Oh, don't get started on Nintendo. No, 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 no. Evil. Evil. You still there, Halcyon? You can add to this conversation. I don't mind. You haven't gotten your cargo racks yet in the Elite News? Shoot. Yeah, I was about to check that again, but I guess it really is going to be tomorrow. That bites, but is what it is, man. Yeah. We're talking about a community goal, Halcyon. We had to deliver cargo to a space station that's besieged in a combat zone, and we earned extra cargo racks for our ships that will expand the cargo amount. They mount inside the ship. They have slots. So that's how it works, kind of, sort of. So they're basically like expansions, kind of like blades in a way. Is the best way to describe them, maybe? Maybe that's the best way to describe them. Yeah. They're like the blades. Citizenships have hard locked internals. They can be upgraded for different types of modules, but you can't, switch between up and down on sizes of shield generators for ship classes. It's a bit more structured, I guess would be the word. Does that make sense, Iceman? They're a bit more structured. If that makes more sense. Yeah. They are modular to a degree, but not in the elite sense, so to speak. Yeah. I need Titan parts. Working on a pre-engineered SEO for your Corvette. Need Titan parts. Ooh. Sounds fun. Hmm. Sorry, typing something personal. Hold on, chat. Hmm. Cool. Yeah. How much do you need? Hold up, hold up. 1.5 more billion for carrier if I want it. Not bad. Not bad, dude. Not bad. Interesting. Have I already passed the 100? Oh, yeah, I did. The 100 message limit was earlier tonight, about an hour ago. It's not bad. Huh. Sorry I'm being so quiet, chat. Trying to figure things out. I love that I have such a talkative chat tonight. It's great stuff. And thank you guys so much for that. Appreciate you so much. Mm. Y'all are awesome. Oh, what am I trying to figure out? What could be so important? Well, we were talking about CitizenCon and how it was only 2 hours long this year. What could be so important that they would only use 2 hours to announce? Aha. Squadron 42. Been staring me in the face, Halcyon. Staring me in the freaking face, man. It has to be. Something about Squadron 42. Has to be. They're probably going to have something first of the year or the next month for everything else. But I think Squadron is going to be the key when it comes to CitizenCon. We'll see. And the reason I put my hedge my bets on that is because of an item I have in my hangar. The items you buy each year for CitCon, you know, the digital goodie bag, so to speak. When did that come out? We should be getting it in a few weeks, Halcyon. The digital goodies bag. Yep, there it is. September 3rd. We should get a digital goodies bag. Mark my words, chat. When was September 3rd last year? It was a Tuesday. So either the 2nd or the 3rd, we will have the digital goodies pack announced. Probably the week before, I would think. And then we'll be able to piece together a little bit of the mystery of CitizenCon 2955. We'll see. Because I'm kind of suspicious about what's going on there. What do you think of my theory, Halcyon? But the pack might relate to the theme a bit. They're getting better with them. Yeah. Definitely. I am hoping they do. They're getting better with them. Yeah, I agree. They are. Definitely. And the CitizenCon Digital Goodies Pack last year was a great one. Look at this. Look at this stuff. You get an armored flight suit that's like a light piece of armor. Armored helmet, also armor. P8's rifle. 2 of them. Sandworm plushie, Vanduul skull, challenge coin, trophy, double bed, cockpit recorder prop. And there's a storage crate too, I believe. Storage chest, yeah. So what was last year, the year before last? Year before last 2023 wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. There, well, it's a pyro pack. Frontier undersuit, helmet, trophy, dead rig shotgun, headhunter gear, pyrotechnic amalgamated, ship coin plushie, and dragonfly paint. Yep. I've been buying these packs since I entered the game, the verse. So, yeah. Can't wait to see when the digital goodies bag will be available for purchase. I guess we'll find out. So, but from what you're telling me, though, Icebound, we still don't have our items available yet, unfortunately. Still have to wait, I guess. Yeah. That's what it's looking like. Yep. Yeah. Huh. Okay, I am looking for something.
Being told to buy anymore, but my husband.
Hold on, chat. I'm gonna go open a door for somebody. I'll be right back. I'm coming. Yeah. Sorry. Ow. Kicked my foot. Sorry about that, chat. Yeah. Popeyes. Have to eat something at some point today. Not exactly the best food, but hey, it's food, you know, it's food. Fair enough, it's food. They do. They do. Definitely do. They definitely do have one of the better chicken sandwiches. Chat, I'm probably going to be on again tomorrow, but I need to eat and get ready for sleep tonight. It's been about 4 hours. I am going to raid the innumerable, if I can find him, Paul Shelley, if he's on. There he is on Twitch. Go send Paul some love. And I will send you all on your merry, merry way. 07, everybody. Peace. 07.